You were once in command of an infantry platoon at 29 Palms, which is the base where many of these Marines are being deployed from. What kind of training, what should we know about what they do at that base to prepare them, if it prepares them for what they're being asked to do here?
Good evening, Jen. Thanks for having me on. It does not prepare them for what they are being asked to do right now, which is domestic law enforcement, a job that the LAPD are well trained to do and have the situation fully in hand, according to the LAPD police chief. The Marines on 29 Palms, and these are infantry Marines, are trained for years to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy. They are trained to fight the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the Chinese People's Liberation Army. They are not trained to police their fellow citizens. And these officers, these sergeants and corporals and lieutenants and captains are put in an impossible situation right now because they swear an oath to uphold the Constitution. They also swear an oath to obey orders from the president. But right now, the president is ordering them to do something that does not support the Constitution.
I've been thinking about this a lot as well. I mean, they are just delivering on what they're ordered to do. This is not what they trained to do. This is a very high-level training facility where they're doing this, as you just stated. They are the type of Marines, type of military that would be deployed to the Middle East or to places where there is greater conflict, international conflict. 29
Palms is the Marine Corps' premier live fire training facility, and it's worth picturing how these Marines are trained for militarized operations on urban terrain, which is what they train for when it comes to urban combat. In the desert, they have all these shipping containers that are stacked on top of each other to represent a city. And when you're a platoon commander or a company commander, what you do is you take your Marines and you bring up some armored vehicles and you train fire on those buildings, and then you use that fire to suppress the enemy, and Marines start to maneuver into the building and clear that building out. And you do that building by building. This is not something you would ever do to an American city. This was something that you would do if the Iranians had occupied a Syrian city, right? This is something that you do when you are fighting the enemy, not when you are treating people who have the Bill of Rights protecting them. It is a gross misalignment of tactics with need.
I wanted to ask you about what Major General Scott Sherman said, which is that these 700 active duty Marine infantrymen have been authorized to detain civilians up until the point when civilian law enforcement is able to arrest them.
I don't know what that means. I candidly do not know what that means, because if you are detaining somebody against their will, immediately you are entering into police territory. And that is a violation of posse comitatus. These Marines are trained for the law of armed conflict, which has much lower standards. It has humane standards, but has lower standards for detention of civilians. The LAPD are trained to detain people with due process. And trying to create a confluence of the two is a recipe for civil rights violations. And again, it's unfair to these Marines. These sergeants and corporals, they're just not trained for this. 4 days of, sloppy training thrown together at the last minute by Pete Hegseth ain't going to cut it.